Governor Pete Ricketts showed his support for the man he hopes is elected to become his successor. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, Republican gubernatorial candidate Jim Pillen was joined by Governor Pete Ricketts this week during a listening session tour. The duo were at the Legacy of the Plains Museum in Gering to talk to residents about issues facing Nebraska before he faces Democratic challenger Carol Blood in November. Pillen shared with KNEB News two major issues that he feels needs work here in Nebraska.
We have a number of areas across the state where we need to have four-lane highways that's been under construction for 35 years. They need to be completed, and there's other areas that will stimulate our economy by four-lane. I'd work very hard with our unicameral to do bonding to get that accomplished. And then the second big piece is for this is the 21st century. Everybody has to have access to broadband. We've got to get that accomplished.
Blood will be in Gering tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. to meet with locals in a similar fashion as Pillen did earlier this week. She'll be at the Gering Civic Center. Well, the Riverside Discovery Center is partnering with the UNMC nursing program and its students again to bring everyone to the Teddy Bear Clinic. RDC educator Kevin Plath says the event will be this Saturday, September 10th from 10 to 2.
While you're there, bring in your favorite teddy bear or plush and explore 4 stations throughout the bottom half of the zoo. You're going to be able to give your bear a checkup, and it'll help make children's checkups a bit less scary. Show them that doctors don't have to be scary and that it's an important thing. While you're here, also be sure to stop by our craft table and our animal handling stations.
The cost for the clinic is included with regular zoo admission and free for people with a zoo membership. We'll have more news right after this.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether it is building, buying, or renovating, we have the home loan or home equity line of credit to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Life Care promises us that we are looked after and taken care of properly.
If I didn't have Life Care, I would be probably scared to death about having enough money for when I got older or when I got sick.
Moving in here was an easy decision and, in fact, a no-brainer. I looked at it as actually buying long-term care insurance, and in retrospect, a good move.
One of the things that convinces me that we did the right thing is no matter what happens, we will constantly be taken care of.
The whole thing is just vital because you don't have to be worried about what's ahead for you. It's there, it's in black and white, and that's reassuring.
This is home. It has been from the day I moved in.
Welcome back. A 30-year-old Gering man who pleaded no contest to 2 separate charges of possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute earlier this year has been sentenced to prison. Joseph Van Winkle was charged following 2 December incidents in which he was in possession of meth, heroin, and fentanyl. Sentencing on the 2 Class 2 felonies was set for May 13th, but Van Winkle failed to appear but was arrested on the warrant last month. Last week in district court, he was sentenced to 2 to 3 years on 1 count and 4 to 6 years on the other charge, with the sentences to run consecutive to each other. In total, he'll serve 6 to 9 years and receive credit for 87 days already served. Well, the 32-year-old Broadwater man charged with murdering his father over a dispute about chores was back in court this week. Joseph Bennett is charged with first-degree murder and use of a firearm to commit a felony in connection to the fatal shooting that occurred in the small Morrill community last month. Bennett was arraigned on the felony charges on Tuesday in Morrill County District Court. Bennett pleaded not guilty to the Class 1A and 1C felonies, and a tentative December trial date has been set. He'll be back in court on November 7th for his pre-trial hearing. And Goshen County native Todd Peterson has announced he will be running as an independent in the House District 5 general election this November. In a release, it says that Peterson is a lifelong conservative Republican running for House District 5 because he believes Goshen County, as the largest ag producer in the state, needs to be represented by a Goshen County native who knows farming and ranching. For over 40 years, Peterson worked in rural banking, beginning with Farm Credit and retiring after 22 years with Pinnacle Bank in 2021. Last month, Scott Smith defeated incumbent Shelley Duncan in the Republican primary for the Wyoming House of Representatives in District 5. Well, coming up after the break, Jason Jorgensen catches up with Sean Callahan for a little Husker Chat. KNEB.TV News will be back right after this.
Welcome to Kelly's, home of the Valley's best selection of wine, spirits, and beer. Whether you're brand loyal to the tried and true brew or really enjoy trying something different and new, Kelly's has something for everyone. Family owned and operated and right on your way on West 27th Street in Scotts Bluff. Kelly's Liquor. If you can't find it at Kelly's, it's not worth drinking.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
We're going to be dealing with cloudy skies across the region, and then rain showers developing after midnight tonight, it looks like, is when our best chance of rain is going to be here across the region. Temperatures cool in the 50s, falling into the upper 40s. We aren't really going to go down much cooler than that because there's going to be rain showers with us overnight. They'll end by tomorrow afternoon. Then cool temps are going to continue tomorrow, and then we're going to moderate. Things look actually really nice Sunday, and next week we're going to warm back up a little bit. Not as warm as where we've been. Another record high yesterday of 100 degrees in Scotts Bluff. 56 was our low, and then we went even cooler than that this morning and down even cooler than that. Hey, how about 100th in the rain gauge yesterday? Yeah, we're up to 100th for the month now. Still 5 inches and change below normal across the region. As you can see, we just have not been able to break that pattern until today. 92 was the coolest temperature that we had in the whole month of September up until today. Lots of 99s, 5 straight days of 100 degrees here across the region. Came to a crashing halt as we are much cooler out there. And we did pick up 1/100th of an inch of moisture that day coming again overnight. Hopefully we're able to add a little bit more to that. I wouldn't hold your breath that it's going to be a ton of rain, but it is going to be several hours of some light rain, it looks like, coming to the region. Again, that's going to end during the day tomorrow. Rain and chances really go away tomorrow night through about Tuesday. Then, if you notice, by Wednesday, and especially Thursday and Friday of next week, we bring back some isolated to scattered shower and thunderstorm chances here across the region. So our chances of rain not going completely away, which is really good news. Chilly day tomorrow across the region. As you can see, temps start in the 40s. We only end in the low 60s. And our chances of precip highest in the morning. They go down quickly, and by lunchtime, I think the rain will be out of here. Speaking of tonight and rain, I think rain's going to hold off for your football forecast tonight. If you're heading out to games that start at 7 o'clock, we'll be looking at mid-50s for a kickoff temperature, and we'll be in the low 50s by the fourth quarter. Might see a few breaks in the clouds, but all in all, it's going to be a pretty cloudy night out there, and it's going to be chilly, certainly cooler than what it's been the last several weeks. Boy, no question about where that cold front is. It's definitely easy to tell where that frontal system has made its way across the region. And as we zoom in, you could see it even more pronounced, I think, than where maybe you pretty easily can tell. We have that cold front that has slid through, and behind it, temperatures 50s and 60s. Out in front of it, 80s and 90s. As we look in closer to home, we're looking at 50s for most of us, a few low 60s in southern and eastern portions of the region. 48 right now in Casper. Winds are out of the northeast at 10 to 15, and they are gusting at times up to 15 to 20 miles an hour, so that's making it feel even cooler out there. And we actually have some wind chills popping up in some areas. Futurecast, early tonight, an isolated shower. I think after midnight is when we start to see the more concentrated rain showers across the region. And they're going to remain pretty consistent overnight into the early morning hours tomorrow. Then by, say, 10, 11 o'clock, and then through the early afternoon, not only do the rain showers go away, but so do the clouds, and leaving us with a clear night here across the region as Futurecast remains quiet and dry over the rest of the period. Overnight lows tonight going to be in the 40s. Couple of upper 30s there, 37 in Casper. Tomorrow, highs rebound only into the 60s, maybe near 70 in a few locations. What are we looking at for precip? Well, a few hundreds. Again, not expecting this to be heavy, but could end up with maybe close to a tenth or two or close to a quarter of an inch in some locations. But a decent amount of moisture going to fall here across the region, which is definitely something that we haven't had in a while and certainly something that we can use. So showers, especially after midnight, lows down around 47. Tomorrow, rain showers early, some sunshine later in the day. It's going to be light and variable on the wind, so really not bad tomorrow other than some rain showers in the morning and temps in the mid-60s. And speaking of not bad, look at Sunday. We're going to be near 80 with sunshine. In the low 90s, I think Monday, Tuesdays will be drier here. And then by Wednesday, Thursday, and especially into Friday, we bring in some at least isolated thunderstorm coverage. And I think Friday may be our best day of getting some moisture next week. But Wednesday, Thursday, not out of the question either, and temperatures back into the mid and upper 80s. Really a pretty pleasant forecast coming here after this big adjustment that we had.
I really like how our OB department takes our limited amount of doctors and turns it into a strength. Even though we only have a couple of people, you get to know them well over your entire pregnancy. We have 2 state-of-the-art labor rooms that are new with our last addition. We have a couple of very nice postpartum rooms also right here in the hospital, so they can get as much time with mom and baby as possible.
I'm Jason Jorgensen. It is time for another edition of Husker Chat. It's brought to you by Acres Equipment. We once again are joined by Sean Callahan of Husker Online as we take a look back at Nebraska's win against North Dakota, then preview this week's game, big Saturday night game against Georgia Southern. Now, Sean, last week you came out, and I agreed with you. You said Nebraska not only needs to win this game against North Dakota, but they need to win it convincingly. Unfortunately, they didn't get it done, but they did finish strong, and they ended an unbelievable 7-game losing streak for Nebraska football.
Yeah, I had 41-17 going in as my prediction, and it ended up being 38-17. But as you know, that score doesn't indicate really how tight that game was for 45 minutes. That game went down to the wire, really, going into the fourth quarter before Nebraska just kind of bullied North Dakota and ran the ball well. The first half, Nebraska only ran 23 plays of offense. North Dakota had a 16-play drive where they just ate up clock. They converted multiple third downs. A couple of them were third and longs. And, the defense couldn't get off the field. And so North Dakota had a good game plan. They kind of crossed Nebraska up defensively. They couldn't get off the field. And then Nebraska's offense was limited to just 4 possessions. They missed a field goal on one of those drives. So they should have had 10 in the first half probably, and they didn't. But luckily they found something, I think, with running back Anthony Grant.
I was going to ask you about him now. Before he even joined the Huskers, I had a coach tell me they said they thought he was one of the best junior college backs they had ever seen. And I guess if you're looking for a bright spot for Nebraska, especially on offense, it's been his play. Not only that he's picked up yards, but he's made yards on his own when there hasn't always been a hole there.
Yeah, and that can make a average or below average offensive line look a lot better. And I think we know that's kind of where Nebraska's at right now. They don't have a great offensive line. They've got a lot of pieces working together still. But when you have a person that can make somebody miss on that first cut, that makes a lot of things look better. And Anthony Grant has that ability. And I feel like at running back, it's one of those positions you can't really coach that. You either have it or you don't. It's not like you develop that skill year 3 or 4 of college. And A.J. Allen has that as well. And, this is probably the best the running backs have looked at Nebraska since, Zigbo looked really good, with the combination of Maurice Washington when Frost first got here in 2018. But I really like the makings of this group because Anthony Grant, not only does he make guys miss, he pulls away. When you see him get in the open field, he doesn't get caught from behind. So they really found something, I believe, in Anthony Grant.
Right. Another one of the big stories coming out of the game was who was calling plays in the second half. What's your read on that? Does it really matter?
I don't think it really matters because if there's one thing Scott Frost has done really well as a coach, he's been a great play caller. So if he has a voice in what they do, why should anybody have a problem with that? I mean, he put up more yards on Wisconsin than anybody has the last few years. He put up more yards on Pat Fitzgerald than anyone ever has in his coaching career. So we know Frost can call plays. That's always been a strength. If he's gonna, and if he's gonna have a voice with Whipple and what they do, that's no different than like Urban Meyer when he was at Ohio State. Nick Saban has a strong voice in what they do at Alabama. Still, he's not a coordinator, so I don't have a problem with that. He's not the primary play caller, but he's the head coach, and I think the head coach is going to have a voice in what you do and be engaged in the game still.
Today on Husker Chat, we're joined by Sean Callahan as we talk Husker football as we look forward to Nebraska's game on Saturday night against Georgia Southern. Let's talk about the defense. I know you were there at the press conference. A lot of questions again about all of the missed tackles. That is certainly an area where the Huskers have to get things cleaned up.
Yeah, 14 missed tackles Saturday, Jason, 29 on the season. And a lot of that was why North Dakota had the 16-play drive early in the game. Nebraska was in position to get off the field. Guys were just missing. Guys weren't lined up right. The loss of Nick Henrich, I think, has been big. You're playing Ernest Hausman. You're moving Chris Kolarovich back over to inside backer. You might have to play Luke Reimer now more snaps in the game than you would feel comfortable doing. He played every snap for the most part Saturday. So I think there's a few things. The safeties, too, are newer on the back end. But bottom line, yeah, they've missed too many tackles.
How about this one against Georgia Southern? They weren't very good a year ago. They have a new head coach, Clay Helton. Folks probably remember that name. He spent quite a bit of time at USC, and it looks like they at least come in with some momentum. I know it was Morgan State, but they blew those guys off the field 59-7.
Well, a couple things. Number one, Clay Helton's an accomplished coach. He's won a Rose Bowl. He's been a long-time play caller at USC before he got to Georgia Southern. He brought a fairly good quarterback with him, Kyle Van Treese from Buffalo. He was a 3-year starter from 19 to 21. Van Treese has only been sacked 10 times in 650-some career dropbacks. So you're not going to sack this guy very often. He's not fast either. He just gets rid of the football, does a really good job of not holding the ball. So Nebraska needs to do a better job of disrupting him, getting his timing off. And they did a good job, I thought, last year in the Buffalo game. But he's a veteran quarterback that's played a lot of football. He's been in Memorial Stadium. So I think there's a few things about it that worry you. But also, Georgia Southern will have some athletes. I mean, you know where they're located in South Georgia. There's plenty of players around there. And it's an attractive place for transfers to head to now, especially with Clay Helton. So, yeah, this game, Nebraska's favored by 3 touchdowns, Jason, but there's still a lot there that gets your attention about Georgia Southern.
Could you see this one developing a little bit like the North Dakota game? Or I suppose we all hope the Huskers may be able to get a handle on this one a little bit earlier and be a little more dominant.
They've got to get stops early on defense. That's really what it comes down to. Nebraska is not getting off the field consistently enough on defense early in games. Too many times they've played a safer, conservative defense They're not getting a pass rush home on 4-man rushes. They're missing key tackles on third downs. They've got to get off the field. And if they can get off the field and force some 3 and outs, yeah, I think they could run away with this game. The other thing is the weather. It's going to be cooler. They're calling for rain. I think that actually probably helps Nebraska more because Georgia Southern is going to try to throw the ball 40, 50 times.
All right. See how it develops on Saturday night. Sean, as always, we appreciate your time and your expertise.
Hey, thanks, Jason.
You bet. That was Sean Callahan of Husker Online joining us for Husker Chat. We're here every week. It's brought to you by Acres Equipment. I'm Jason Jorgensen.
Logos in Gearing is the place to get all of your school spirit gear, personalized gifts, and promotional items for your business and employees and banners for any special event. Logos is also the only place to stop for custom screen printing or embroidery. You can even design it yourself on their interactive website. Stop into Logos today. They'll design it, print it, and have it to you in no time. There's no job too big or small for Logos. That's Logos in Gearing.
Well, let's take a peek at what's happening on your weekend community calendar. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. First State Bank is now Riverstone Bank. Community strong with the same people you know and trust.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, despite the anticipated cool temperatures and a good chance for showers, the annual Airport Appreciation Day and Fly-In event is a go, as scheduled for Saturday. EAA Chapter 608 is hosting this event with a Nebraska Air Guard KC-135 refueling tanker and potentially a Nebraska Army National Guard Lakota helicopter, a Wyoming National Guard C-130, and a large variety of the military vehicles and equipment used by the Wyoming Air Guard. Chapter President Ryan Robinson said various military recruiters will be on hand, and there's a Kiwanis breakfast and other food vendors on site. Local aviation businesses and dozens of aircraft will also be on display, including local and visiting general aviation aircraft. One of the highlights of the annual events is the Young Eagle Flights, where kids aged 8 to 17 will get a free introductory airplane ride through the generosity of local EAA chapter member pilots. Gates open at 7 a.m. tomorrow at Western Nebraska Regional Airport. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.